I remember reading the logline, and I remember having this kind of immediate connection, almost like when you fall in love with the story. It's like, yeah, it's so obvious, you know, hurricane category 5, floated place, domestic place, something that you know, and alligators. It's crazy that no one have done it before. I always been looking for something since The Hills Have Eyes and Piranha. I was reading a lot of scripts trying to find the right scary story, the right plot to justify going back and try to to go back and explore suspense and explore that type of movie again. If you create anything, even if it's a fun experience, even if it's a fun ride, you need the audience to be part of it and never come out. I see filmmaking as an immersive art form where your goal as a director is to annihilate or like erase any distance between the viewer and the screen, to be sure that whatever story you're looking at, you forget that you're looking at it and you're living it. Like, it's all about crossing on the other side of the mirror and be with the character. And especially when you do a survival story, and especially when you do a movie that takes place over just one day, you want to be in the experience, you want to be in the ride. And as a director, your first job is to become a writer and be sure that everything in the script tracks. And what she's going to discover now is that there's not only one, and the worst is to come because the water is coming up. And the more water there is, the more fast and dangerous the alligator become. So to find the right actor to play Dave Keller, the father, I wanted someone who was kind of, I wanted someone that will bring with his attitude a lot of that coach dynamic. Someone who was the father coach figure, someone who could have been tough, but in the same time always supportive, and someone who could also play a dark place where now, after the divorce, after the house was put on sale, someone who cannot find himself and doesn't really find a reason to exist. Barry is a very interesting actor because he has this kind of a range of emotion that you see in every part that he's playing. He's someone that's very devoted, is very, he has like a very strong method of acting. But here it was a different, I think, project for him because it was very personal. He has a daughter that's 16-year-old. He has a relationship with his wife, and I mean the whole thing was kind of echoing his own personal life, and I know it was a very emotional experience for him to play that part. Kaya is she's a very, very complete master of skill. She's an amazing actress. We decided to make this movie in the least Floridian place in the world, which is Belgrade, Serbia, for a very simple reason. Is when you do a movie that takes place only in the Category 5 hurricane, you cannot go shoot in Florida because you will have to erase all the sky, all the trees to replace them by CG trees because you cannot recreate that type of wind, so or that type of rain. So we built everything on stage there. But we discovered when I came for the first time there that the whole city was using the alligators as a symbol. And I was...
Wait, the city of Belgrade?
The city of Belgrade had alligators in for their cab company, for their city services. And I was wondering why. And I discovered that, in fact, in Belgrade lives the oldest alligator in captivity. His name is Muja, and he arrived in Belgrade, in the Belgrade Zoo, in the mid-30s, and he was already an adult, which means that he's 100, maybe more years old, and he's still there. So I went to visit him, of course, and and take picture with Muya at the Belgrade Zoo, and you know, it's a little sad. He's missing a leg. His companion died a few years ago.
Oh, that's sad. That's sad.
But it was kind of a sign that we were in the right place to make this movie. Like Barry was in the water all the time. To stay in his character, he was staying in the water, and he was always tracking that continuity. It's very hard to have any type of continuity in that type of movie because the makeup changed, the water changed, your haircut, and he was really in charge of his character. The same way for Kaya. Kaya was a trooper. She stayed in the water all the time, and we were exhausted, but we were happy to make this movie. So we knew from the beginning that most of our alligators will be the best way in the CG creatures, but they're also so present in the movie. Like in Hollywood and everywhere, they used to say less is more, less is more, less is more, and it's something that I was strongly disagreeing on when we were making this movie. Is we're not talking about monster from out of space. We're talking about creatures that everyone are aware of. Alligators, everyone have seen a crocodile and alligator in their life, pictures or movie footage. So I wanted them to be scaring and threatening, but I wanted them to be very realistic, and I wanted to show them because they exist. I didn't want to hide them and make like some kind of mystery about what is in the shadow and what's going to attack you. So I really wanted an interaction. I want to see a lot of them. So to create this interaction with the actors and the alligator that will be a CG alligators after, we had a few tricks. We had this kind of green head on a pole where a stunt person was attacking the actor with the green head. We had a stunt person in a full body green suit crawling instead of the alligator in between the pipes for the actors to see. We had a diver who was like an amazing thing, and I'm happy we did that because it's one of the best shots, who was like swimming like an alligator sideways with his fin just to create the wake in the water where we could comp after our CG alligators instead. We had like machine to create splash for the tails everywhere. But when you look at the footage, the real footage, and you see the intensity and the fear and the scare and how crazy Kaya played that when she get attacked, and when you look at the reality of this, like stuntman dressed in a spandex like green suit with a pole and that head and attacking, it's kind of very silly, but you have to play it. That's the way it is. Everyone from all the camera, grip, special effects, art department, the hundreds of people from Serbia, from England, from France, who were in the water with us all the time, will tell you it was one of the most exhausting experience, but also one of the most rewarding one, because we knew when we were looking at the screen that we were doing something special. I wanted, and we wanted the hurricane to be a character and growing and growing and growing. When she's driving first, it's only rain. When she gets to the roadblock, you see that giant depression of clouds, hurricane formation in the back, and then she's really driving inside. And when she gets to the house the first time, it's where you really feel the element. You feel how dangerous it is and how windy it is. It was so unique to have this wind machine inside. I mean, when you were standing on the set with the rain in the water and you see the house, you were forgetting about this blue screen and just like you were really in the middle of that apocalyptic storm. I wanted to do a small giant movie, and I think Roll has this element of being contained, having only two characters and a lot of danger around, but I wanted the scope to be very big and to feel that we were into, like it's a great ride at the end. It's not really a normal movie. It's really a suspenseful thriller. The most challenging element in making Crawl was beyond all the technique, the water, and the challenges that we had making the movie, was to find that right balance between drama and survival action, and drama and fear. And we had a very strong, very simple relationship story between the daughter and her father, between Haley and Dave, and about what happened in the past and how they have to cope with the divorce, with the sale of the house to keep moving and for her to be able to keep swimming. But I didn't want to make the movie overly dramatic either. It's still, for me, and overall, a great gator movie ride where I wanted to see alligators chasing and hunting people. But to be on the side of the alligators, I needed other characters to not feel too much for them, to also have fun with the alligators. And that's how we create the looters that are like, goes with the hurricane. I mean, every hurricane has, every storm has his deal of just, people that take advantage to just steal and so we wanted to make them not funny but enjoyable and kind of a little silly, that when they come to their awful deaths, it will be a fun ride. And the same with that cop and the backstory. I mean, I really feel for Wayne. I really like Wayne, the cop who comes and really decide to help. But it was more of creating a secondary character that will help for the scary, fun part of the story, and to bring that balance, to not make it just like a dry drama about father and a daughter. Sam was really here and really helped me to consolidate the vision. He was, the one understanding about the like how much you want to see, how difficult it's going to be to see the gators, and kind of reconcile a very ambitious vision that I had with a movie that someone else could have said, hey, you know what, let's do it by night in like a few small location and let's do it for half of the price. To work with someone that has so much experience and knowledge, help you to find the right pace. So I had the chance with Scroll to make a movie that was like my vision, and at the end the cut that you saw is pretty much my director's cut. So that's why there is no unrated cut of the movie, because